Okay, it's another quick video for myself, Harvey Goldman. No cuts, no edits, no filters, and no hair. For today's video, it's a very quick one about the UK's food system and how the food system is almost certainly rigged against you. So, your weekly shop isn't just expensive, it's been designed in such a way that it's there to bleed you dry and feed the pockets of large corporations. Think about it. The food inflation crisis. In 2024, it hit its peak. There was 19% in food price inflation in 2024 alone. Now, prices dropped slightly in early 2025, but groceries on the whole are still 25 to 30% more expensive across the board than they were in 2021. So groceries have gone up by around a third. Things like your basics, your milk, your pasta, your bread, your eggs, all the stuff that you need, the staples, their prices are still much, much higher. You've got obviously things like shrinkflation, and you've got fake discounts offered, if you're forced to hand your precious data over to get a loyalty card. But things like chocolate bars are now 20% smaller, cereal boxes have shrunk, and they're being sold at the same or even in many cases higher prices. It's a joke. You've got club card prices and nectar offers. And there was actually an investigation literally last month held by Which, the consumer magazine. And they found that 30% of these so-called discounts are either fake or just plain misleading. So there's obviously corruption there. Of course, farmers, there is a massive squeeze on farmers. Farmers are basically paid below production cost for things like milk, eggs, and veg. UK dairy farmers, their profits are basically down 7% year on year. And those stats are directly from the NFU as of March this year, so literally a month ago. You've got corporate profits versus consumer pain. The big supermarkets, the Tesco's, the Sainsbury's, the Asda's, they've all posted record profit rises in 2024, despite apparently having cost pressures and increased costs at their end. And it all seems a bit like BS. Supermarkets are quite happy to blame increased supplier costs for this. But at the end of the day, their margins are still rising. And this is obviously to please their shareholders and increase their profits. And we've seen this also in the energy market with utilities, exactly the same. Gas and electric, exactly the same. Record profits, blaming supply, and we're the poor mugs that are feeling the squeeze. But more worryingly, especially in the supermarkets, is that ultra-processed foods are taking over. So where you can find bargains, unless you're like me and you yellow label shop a couple of times a week to fill the voids for things like milk, cheese, meat, your cheapest and most readily available foods are ultra processed. 50% of UK diets are now ultra processed foods. There are strong links with all of this, obviously, to obesity, depression, type 2 diabetes, and any number of other ailments that can be prevented, or at least knocked back, for want of a better expression. So how do you fight back against this? What are the options? I mean, obviously, it's going to depend largely on income. And this is where many people are going to fall down. You have got things like local markets. You've got things like buying direct from your local farmer, if you've got a local farmer. You might have access to community gardens, allotments. I think that probably the biggest fix is that everybody should have basic cooking skills. And I am always amazed, especially with TikTok. And I'm sure some people do it for rage bait. They pretend to be deliberately really crap at cooking, or they make horrific meals just to get views. I'm sure that's absolutely a thing. But I'm amazed at the lack of basic cooking skills that people have. Most people, I feel, should be able to make something as simple as a grilled breakfast, a roast dinner, maybe a lasagna, something like that from scratch. Most people should be able to make a cheese sauce or a bechamel or a roux or something like that. These are things that aren't rocket science. I remember one of the first dishes that I ever made was I think hummus. Was the first thing that I actually learnt to make as a kid, all those years ago. And stuff like that, making hummus, making guacamole, making salsa. All of these things are fundamental skills. And if you combine that with the ability to make a pita bread or an unleavened bread, you've got yourself the basics of a meal. And these are skills that perhaps many people are lacking. By learning them, you can definitely save yourself some money. You can fight back against the ultra-processed crap that is appearing month on month in our supermarkets, taking over the shelves. You can feed your family healthily. You can fight back against these largely preventable diseases that are becoming more and more prevalent and save yourself some pennies in the process. So just like I do need to really take stock of my life and go and learn some elementary DIY skills, I implore everybody, learn some basic cooking skills. If you don't know already, find yourself a website, find yourself a book and get on it. And let's fight back against this monstrosity, I guess you'd call it, that we see in our supermarkets, this monster that is ultra-processed foods. And also, of course, let's fight back. Let's tell them that we're not going to be paying these ridiculous sums of money for fake crap, that we want healthier options, we want healthier food, that farmers need to be paid properly for foods that are healthy, and that are going to keep us sharp and keep us productive and keep us disease-free. What are your thoughts on this? What's this like in your local area? I know for myself, living in Devon, obviously markets are fairly abundant, although they are bloody expensive. Farms are fairly abundant, although again, they are bloody expensive. But let me know. Drop it in the comments. Really keen to find out what this is like in the country, in the city, town to town. Let's hear your experience of it. YouTube's going to put another video there. Maybe check it out. Maybe don't. And like, follow, subscribe, ring the bell, all that jazz. Another video tomorrow. Goldman, peace out.